probably would pick Shelton Benjamin and maybe even Ziggler. There's no way in hell he's going to throw a person like Golddust, which Golddust is part of a different thing, but he's not going to go, you know what? I know who represents America. The Fiend.
But don't give Vince too much credit about picking out the members for which the ones you just picked out. That seems like you're giving him too much credit for that. But yeah,
but you give him a point. There's no way that would fly nowadays.
Nah,
the only two that kind of make sense, and it's kind of a stretch, is Mark Marrow and Steve Blackman.
No, it's not too much of a stretch, honestly.
Well, I only say Steve Blackman because he was new.
He was really new. I mean, like, you're talking like a week old.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because they showed a clip from Raw when he debuted.
I barely remember how he came in, too, honestly. Barely remember that.
Was Al Snow part of WWF at this time?
Back in 97, I don't believe he was. I think it took several months to at least maybe another year. Yeah. He was still in ECW, I believe it was, yeah. I think he came in WWF till like maybe late 97. Oh, not late 90. Maybe later on in 98. That's what I meant by that. I think it was like 97. So
I just got the title for the episode. The title of this episode is going to be Golddust Represents America.
Go for it. And he didn't even say anything on the interview about his head's like was back the other way. It's kind of funny, but yeah, that was a funny team. I thought Team Canada was even funnier in different ways too. Honestly, I was like,
yeah.
And the thing is, JR that made a comment. Yeah, JR made a comment. It was like, it's a Team Canada. There's only one person originally from Canada. Yeah, I know, it's funny too. But that's whatever. I mean,
but you can also make the argument with Jim Neidhart, and I get that. Like, he would be kind of like if someone from America became a traitor to Canada. I can take Jim Neidhart, and I can give him a pass, given the tie to Sue Hart and whatnot.
But then I still think I'm gonna be an American going and be on Team Canada to go against America. I know it's just a storyline, but still, it's just weird to me.
I mean, when people think of American Made, they think of Vader and Golddust.
That's right, man. That's America, man. Oh, that's America.
Ridiculous. What did you think of the match, though?
Give it 5.5. It was all right.
Okay. Yeah, I gave it a 5. Aside from me like being stuck on the fact of like looking at like what the hell are those two doing here, it wasn't a bad match. I mean, Vader did Vader things. I hate to say it like that, but that was the case. You had Mark Marrow trying to throw in the boxing punches like he was in an actual boxing match. And of course, Steve Blackman doing his thing. British Bulldog, I don't remember too much from Doug Furness and Jim Neidhart. You know, they did what they could.
Doug Furness, their guy, I don't even know barely who they are anymore, honestly.
Yeah, I wrote down the names when they're coming out. I just remember the main two from Team Canada I remember being in the match were Bulldog and Neidhart.
Let's see if I can do this here. Hang on. America. I don't know. I thought I'd try a Golddust impersonation there.
Okay. I'm like, are you trying to do the inhale?
Yeah, that thing. I'm not good at that thing. But plus, it don't match up with my asthma very well.
Yeah, I got you. The next one is Kane with Paul Bearer versus a very demented Mankind. So I started watching WWF when Mankind was already wearing the white shirt with a tie. I only played as him in the all brown thing. I still don't think that was a good look for him as all brown.
I thought it was pretty good for being early on. It was good for what his character was at that time, and he evolved the right way. But I mean, he had some phenomenal matches against the Undertaker. And
his little brother Kane.
His little brother Kane too. But yeah. So it was a good start for him. But this match was kind of brutal. You know, it was something else. Kane was brand new. The character was brand new. Mankind had been in it for a little while. Gave it a 6.5.
Yeah, I gave it a 6. It was one of those where you kind of knew with Kane and Mick Foley you're going to get a pretty good match. Even with Kane, the character being new, Glenn has always been a safe guy. It was pretty good. Again, the only thing that kind of drew my attention away from it a little bit is just like the whole time I'm like, I haven't watched him wrestle in the brown, and this is really distracting. But yeah, I know he's trying to do what's his name from Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, kind of like a Hannibal way of a gimmick. Then the final, I should say, Survivor Series was Shamrock, Ahmed Johnson, and I'm gonna call them the Road Warriors. I know they're called Legion of Doom and WWF, but I'm gonna call them the Road Warriors because that's what I know them as. Versus the Nation of Domination, Farouk, D'Lo Brown, Kama Mustafa, and Rocky Maivia, or Maivia. I don't remember how you pronounce that.
Rocky Maivia.
Yeah, Maivia, The Rock, essentially, and the Godfather before he decided to have some hoes. What was your take on this?
It was really good, honestly. I was a big fan of Ahmed Johnson when he had his good run in there. Honestly, big fan. Shamrock was always cool with too. Obviously LOD, they were cool dudes to watch. And one thing I did notice a little bit, just happened to glance. The Rock was wearing his old tights. I think it was not long after he wore his newer tights, but I think it was when he took over as a leader of the nation. But just haven't noticed that. But I thought it was a good match. I mean, it was really good. I mean, I give it 6.7. I thought it was entertaining and good. It was a good match. It was the right characters, the right timing, everything. So definitely, I could have gave it a 7. I would have had no problem with it.
Yeah, that's what I did as a 7. And for me, it sounds weird, but it was weird seeing The Rock tap to Shamrock because I'm looking at it from the goggles of the future, knowing how big of a star The Rock became, and seeing Shamrock get the tap, it was one of those where it's like, oh yeah, this is when Rock was considered bottom rung.
Oh yeah. I remember him and Shamrock's rivalry, man. That was a great rivalry, man. I know The Rock's mentioned it at least a couple times. Huh?
Did it spark before or after this?
This is going on before that.
Okay.
Yeah, this is ongoing. That rivalry lasted a while, and I thought it was really good. The biggest thing that came out, one of the biggest things came out of that was the Hank Aaron's chair shot. Sometimes they refer to that, but I don't know if you ever saw it on footage or not. But it was a chair shot that The Rock gave Shamrock on Raw one night. Did you see that?
No, I never heard of that.
Oh, you got to check that out, man. It was I seen that live on Raw, back then, and dude, that was a chair shot from hell, man. It was like legit. Shamrock's dude, he just said, just give it to me hard, man. Just hit me the hell out. Just hit me with that chair as hard as you can. And oh my god, he did. And yeah, dude, you check that out. I'm sure YouTube or find it on the network or whatnot. But yeah, it's check that out. It was a great match, though. Yeah, definitely was.
Yeah, it was a pretty good match. I don't know too much about the rivalry because that was before I started watching it. I think by the time I got to WWF and started watching it, Shamrock was already gone, and you can only play as him as a character
on games.
Yeah, in the games. Sorry, that seems was coming out of nowhere. Yeah, from the games. Because I always loved wrestling games and I was more into the WCW, but I ended up playing the WWF early on, and when it came to games, my favorite, as a kid, was either WCW versus NWO Revenge or WWF No Mercy, both on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I played first one I played. Oh, probably so. Sorry, probably it was the second one I played. It was WWF Raw Zone or War Zone. I don't know, one of those games. It was back in about 90s. Same year, I guess it was, and they had this thing on there. You could choose your wrestler in a match, and they would say, "Here's your selections: heel or face." I'm like, "What the hell's a heel? And what the hell's a face? What are they talking about?" Just before I knew anything.
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, does that mean they what did they have? Well, I had no idea, so I just picked whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, there's a game. There was a game like that. I remember that, and I didn't know what that means either. There's one of the WWF ones I only played because they threw weapons into the ring so you can hit someone over the head with a TV. I couldn't tell you what that one was called, but I used to just literally just wait for the TV to come and then hit people with it.
I think I know what you're talking about,
yeah. The next one was, now correct me if I'm wrong, this happened after the messed up neck thing.
Yes.
The Austin versus Owen Hart.
This was just months afterwards.
So this was basically building off the fact that Owen tried to break his neck.
Yes, this was Survivor Series 97. That the whole broken neck was in SummerSlam. So that was in August. This was in November.
What the hell is wrong with people trying to put people in a match like this together? Like, I could see Austin being legit pissed at Owen Hart for making that botch. I would have kept them apart.
He had said that Austin off camera, off being his character, he had talked about that in one of his documentaries years ago. That their relationship, their friendship changed. After that, it was more like he didn't get really an apology from Owen. Owen didn't say much to him. He just kind of like general hellos, nothing over the top, but it just changed. I guess there's a guilt, I guess, from Owen Hart, but there's still a respect factor there. But yeah, their relationship changed after all that. I don't know the whole details, so I mean, other what Austin talked about years ago on a non-documentary, but it was interesting, and I remember the night that. Did you watch Raw the night after Owen died?
No.
Okay, I did. A lot of people, I think their commentators were talking about a little bit, but there's a lot. You feel the anticipation with a lot of fans, as well as myself, being at the history of Austin and Owen. What was Austin going to do? Because they're doing their all the wrestlers are talking about, out of character, how they felt about Owen and everything. And at the end of the night, they had Austin come out there and do cheers to the Titantron screen. They had Owen picture up there, a loving memory. And Austin gave it cheers and said a few words off the microphone. He just mouthed some words to him. And there's a history there. So it was kind of like, what's he going to do? What's he going to say? And they ended off that Raw with that segment, but that was back in '99, and to
give you context, I didn't find out about that until a couple of weeks after it happened.
Really?
Yeah, well, I have some friends that watch WWF, and the only way I found out about it is someone happened to mention it because we're talking about Sting coming down from the rafters. He goes, "Oh, one guy died from that." I'm like, "Who? Owen Hart? Who's Owen Hart?" And that was literally the interaction.
Wow, Owen Hart back in '99?
No, I watched WCW. The only Hart I ever heard of was Bret, and that was because he was in WCW.
Yeah. I understand that. That was a good match. I give 6.5. The ending was a little bit out of nowhere. It wasn't like a long match, which I think it's just because Austin's maybe getting back from health and all that stuff. But it was still a good match. They said 6.5. I see title back.
Yeah, I kind of rated it the same, but it was for the same purpose. The brawling on the outside, one made it look like signature Austin. Now, hindsight being 2020. But I do also take into consideration the fact that it looked like they're trying to protect Austin's neck, and that's why the match was laid out the way it was. So you gotta give him credit for trying to work around that.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Austin was on a lighter schedule between this and then later on between his neck, and also back then he also took a little bit. He didn't work as hard. I mean, his schedule was a little bit lighter times this time frame because hunting season. He always wanted hunting season kind of like a lighter schedule. So I don't know what all dates he worked.